So good morning, November the 13th, 2014. This is CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Today is day number 24 in the week number 12. So let's get started. First of all, welcome back. Bear with me for minutes for this class because we are having a big screen and then we are having a small screen. Alright, now this is week number 12, okay? So let's take a look at what we have done so far because it's very important that after your midterm that we have come to this point at this semester. So you finished your midterm last Monday, okay? And you finished the free learning contracts. So when you look at the syllabus of this semester, you know that you are almost finished 2/3 of the work in this semester. So let's move on to the remaining 1/3. So that is the submission link for learning contract number 3, and I'm glad that most of you have already done your submissions. And as of 10 a.m. this morning, the student experience questionnaire for this learning contract has been released. And for those of you who complete the student learning contract, and if you leave me a message, okay, in week number 12, Dr. Vet's Q&A hotline here, remember, is week number 12. You will be given a bonus point of 4 points, which is equivalent to the online learning journals, okay? As long as you have finished the questionnaire and leave me a message here, that is called bonus point, efforts point, okay? So, first of all, let me come back to the teacher's message of this week. So if you look at the teacher's message of this week, this is the message, okay? And it was released on Monday morning. If you look at this message, what we are trying to get to you, it's now that we are somewhere in this semester, we have finished learning contract 1, we have finished learning contract 2, and we have finished learning contract number 3, okay? And if you look back on the basics that you should have learned on the phrase-specific learning contract, it's in a way that I can think this way, it's nothing to do with my computer. It has something to do with the projector, okay? If you have your own devices, okay, you can see that when I give you the freedom to do the free learning contract, you are actually doing the topic selections from several important areas of this course in each particular learning contract. And where you can find that, in each particular learning contract, we do have the learn and practice sections, okay? And in this teacher's message, I specifically single out those sections so that you can see that immediately in the message. For the first learning contract, you have these number of items. For the second learning contract, you have this number of items. And for the first learning contract, you have this number of items. Now, it is very important that in this particular week, because we have 3 more weeks to go in a semester, that I have to emphasize one important activity that you need to perform. That is an important activity to get your learning contract, better say, wrap up and get your learning portfolio done. Go back, each one of you, to each of the learning contract you have completed and look over to the topic you selected as your journal topic and ask yourself if your topic selected falls into this category, okay? For example, let me read it out to you. In learning contract number 1, if you look at the schedule of topics in the syllabus, it's not obvious. But if you look at the schedule of topics in this particular reminder, because it's taken out from the recommended textbook, it's very obvious. Now, let me read this out to you. The first one, the first learning contract, is Introductions to Computer Security. Okay? So we have enough material in the website to help you understand that. But when you come to this link, okay, you will have a different picture because it was that kind of notes that a teacher is supposed to prepare for the student systematically to fit you into the frameworks of this knowledge. The second is cyber. It's very interesting. It's let me read that out. Cyber stalking. Okay, cyber stalking, fraud, and abuse. Talking about some crimes there. And the third is denial of service attacks. Now, only 3 topics in the first learning contract. All right. And in the second learning contract, we have a big term called malware. What is a malware? It's the kind of software that happens to get into your computer and become a spy there to get your information without your understanding. And the worst case is it's a hole in his memory and all your data lost. Techniques used by hackers, okay? Second learning contract. And the third, industrial espionage in cyberspace, okay? How are you going to steal someone else's information through that kind of connections in work and commercial networks? And in the third learning contract, encryption, computer security software, security policies, cyber terrorism, and information warfare. Now, these are important topics that I really hope that when you select your general topic from the reading list, you are actually consulting both this learning practice resources and your personal interest. So what am I supposed to do today? Well, I'm reminding you, you have the last mile to want for this semester, and that is you need to complete your learning portfolio for this semester. And in order to complete the learning portfolio in this semester, you really have to go back to your accomplishment in each of the 3 learning contracts that you did. Well, the topic you select, the report you write, the blocks you enjoy. Okay, the keywords is reflections and connections. How do you reflect on what you have learned based on the schedule of the syllabus and the topics of interest to choose, as well as the learning practice resources we provided here? In a traditional taught-to-learn course, as an instructor, I will ensure that each of the topic demonstrate to you in the learn the basics will be covered. And by doing that, all the time in class we will devote it to what we call lecture. And you know that this is a general education course. The content is important, but the way to deliver the content is different. We want to give you the freedom to choose. So the way to do it is I have to design your learning material around those core topics of the semester into the reading list of the first 10 weeks. Okay? In the reading list of the first 10 weeks, I have to make it very simple for you to choose a topic. And so when you read the reading list, all the questions start with the keyword what. What? Okay? What is the basics? I want you to know the what of that topic. But when you get into the inquiry-based learning approach, automatically, after the observations, you're invited to do interpretations. When you do the interpretations, when I look at your questions there, a lot of you have used other keywords like why, how, who, right? So it's very interesting. And then when I look at your applications, the way you make sense of that, I see a lot of the very interesting sub-statements of inspirations. Now the question is, although we emphasize the topics in this course, I have not insisted when you submit your assignment in the first, second, and third learning contracts, all the content must be meticulous or accurate enough. Because I want to hold you responsible individually, pair-wise, as well as team-wise, that you know what you are doing with the topic you select. So the most laborious exercise that I believe that you have already gone through it, you need to take a topic, you need to prepare something for your topic, that is called your OIA set, and you need to engage your learning partner to talk about your topic. Okay? And your learning partner will need to give you a response in such a way that will make you feel comfortable with how to continue to improve your understanding of the topic. Now, when we come to the end of the semester, as I put form here, you have to complete your learning portfolio. And the way to complete your learning portfolio is to go back to look at the syllabus of this course. We have 6 course intended learning outcomes. We call it sign-ups. And in the first learning contract, we never talk about the sign-ups. We just talk about how you select a topic and you invite your partner to help you to understand the topic by investigating your set of OIA. But in the second learning contract, we start to ask you, now you know that we have 6 possible sign-ups. Please select 2 and use that as the basis to select your topic. Now that is the beginning of your journey. Use the sign-up as the basis to select your topic. Alright. And then you select your sign-ups, and based on the sign-up, you select a topic which is somewhat related to the sign-up. And you do your OIA, you do your discussions, you do your report, and then you do the blog. Now in the third learning contract, we asked you to continue this pattern to select 2 more sign-up you have not done out of the 6. So at the end of the third learning contract, you should have touched 4 possible sign-ups of the altogether 6 sign-ups in this course. And the question is, you complete 4 possible sign-ups in the second and the third learning contract with the help of your peer members and your teammates. Now, you've done something which is called the artifacts of your learning contract. What you have to do in your learning portfolio is you are again invited to go back to the 6 sign-ups and select 4 possible sign-ups of your own choice. Now this time is an individual choice. And then, logically speaking, you will select the 4 sign-ups which you have already done. Which I encourage to do that because you have already got the job done. You do not need to do everything from scratch. And when you select the 4 sign-ups from the 6 possible sign-ups in this course, you need to demonstrate that you are able to accomplish what the sign-up said. Okay? What are you going to do then? So you take each sign-up, you select, you interpret what is required of you to get it accomplished, and you provide evidence of your accomplishment. Now, what are the evidence of your accomplishment? As I informed you, these are the artifacts you already produced in the second, in the third, or in this learning portfolio period when you believe you need to do something more. Examples, a topic, the journal of the topic, the specific set of OIA of the topic, the discussion details of the specific set of OIA of the topic with your learning partner, with your teammates. Okay? The report of the topic you wrote, or your peer wrote, or your team wrote. Okay? The blog, the PowerPoint to present the topic, the digital story that you use to present the PowerPoint. And now what else? Your team wiki, where you have records of doing something very specific. Okay? For example, case study of an example like the hacktivisms, the anonymous attack in Hong Kong or around the world, self-security, fraud. Now, the example given to you by the very interesting CNN news account, all right? And you use it as the basis to interpret, or some local stories. So now, the question is, what are you going to put together as your learning portfolio? Now, remember, the last day to submit your learning portfolio artifact is December the 10th, almost 1 month away. But you must get all the artifacts of your learning portfolio on your e-portfolio page, personal e-portfolio page, which is already given to you starting from last week. Okay? So, at the end of the semester, we call it December the 10th, besides submitting the individual artifacts of your 4 sign-ups, I will probably set up 4 submission links. Each of these submission links, I cannot take this. Sorry for that. And each of these submission links is going to gather some artifacts. Okay? So just like in your learning contract submission link, you have a number of artifacts you need to submit. And I will set up 4 sets of submission links, one for each signer that you need to choose. And I will give you 4 important items that you might want to submit. Okay? But if you have other items you want to submit, you put it in your wiki. Alright? So, and that will be the basis to earn you the 20% of your learning e-portfolio. If you look at here, it's 20%. But look at that. I've also given you a choice. The 20% for your learning e-portfolio, it's based on the syllabus. It's based on the syllabus. And if you read this teacher's message of this week, I've given you a choice. The original is called Plan A. Okay? Plan A. This is the Plan A. Okay? I've also given you a choice of Plan B. If you look at the difference between Plan A and Plan B, is Plan B will have 30% of the learning portfolio rather than 20. But you have also reduced the in-class participations from 20% to 10%. So what does it mean? It will be good for those who've never done enough of the in-class participations. In order to earn 20% of the in-class participations, you need 10 times in-class participations. But in order to earn 10% of the in-class participation score, you need just 5 times. Okay? So if you can at least 5 different records throughout the semester of your in-class participations, you can earn this 10% straight. But of course, if you can earn that 20% straight, I would say that you better take the 20% straight, because the in-class participation score is very good. Alright? So you think a little bit about this, and I will set up another specific choice of assessment scheme link for you to write this on December the 10th. But in this teacher's message, I also invite you to give me a message on this week's Documents Q&A hotline if you make up your mind already. Okay? So this is good for you. And then another thing I need to remind you is, I've given you the ideas of a bonus work last week. Okay, the idea of a bonus work. And you have at most 3 more weeks to do that. Next week, and 2 weeks after next week. Okay, and what do you need to do if you want to have the bonus work? That bonus work will give you 10% of the final 100% grade. And that is called an in-class forum. Okay? Each one of you can do it on your own, can do it as a pair, and can also do it as a team. Okay, you have 3 choices. But no matter you do it as an individual, you do it as a pair, or as a team, the format is this. 1 week before the in-class forum, you must sign up in the Dr. Vance Q&A hotline, send me a message that you plan to do it next week on which day. Okay, when I receive this message, I will confirm a 30-minute slot for you on that particular class. You have altogether 30 minutes to do it. Alright? And then 3 days before your in-class participations, you must put forward the material of your in-class discussions in the public discussion forum of that week. Okay, so that whole class can read it. Alright? Your purpose there, when you are given the 30 minutes, is to introduce the topic in class with a maximum of 5 minutes at the very beginning, and conclude the topic of discussions towards the end with another 5 minutes. So out of the 30 minutes time, the first 5 minutes is your introductions, what you expect the whole class to do, and the last 5 minutes is your conclusions, what you have observed the whole class have done. And in between, you have 20 minutes time. This is called a discussion time. You need to prepare from 1 to 3 questions, 3 at most. Okay? Normally, the 3 questions, you have to allocate 7 to 8 minutes per question. Actually, less than that. So, highly suggested is only 2 questions. If you have 2 questions for the whole class, with 1 backup question, that will be the best. So that you can allocate 10 minutes for each question. And how are we going to do that? You want to excite the whole class, your fellow student, to discuss the topic with you. So after the first 5 minutes, with your introductions, you must have PowerPoint that will print out the first questions. And together with the question, you might want to supplement it with a 1 minute, at most 1 minute of video. Or a simple introduction, pinpoint enough. And then you pass the microphone. Okay? And invite the feedback or suggestion from the whole class. And you collect the pros and the cons of your questions. And you try to put things into perspective. You don't talk a lot in that time. You excite your fellow student to talk about your questions. When one says something, you listen to it, catch some point, and pass it to someone else. Now you have the right to invite every other student in this class to talk about your questions. And normally, for each questions, I expect from 3 to 5 students to say for 30 seconds to 1 minute each. Okay? And I will definitely do the video camera and use this as the basis of your in-class problem. So the amount of effort to do it is you need to do things beforehand, at least prepare some PowerPoint, to put it on the public discussion forum 3 days before your forum, so the whole class will watch your PowerPoint. And you might want to prepare some video to introduce to the fellow student during the discussions. And you need to do some kind of organizations yourself. If you do it alone, you have a lot of work to do. The best is to do it with your learning partner as a pair. So that both you can earn that 10%. And then you can make the best use of the in-class environment to express your topics. Now remember, we have 3 more weeks. Okay? Next week, the week after next, and the makeup week. Okay? That means we have 6 possible chances. And in each class, we have 3 30 minutes at most. So, principally speaking, we have enough time slot to give you the bonus work, to make it work. And I call this is a different kind of presentations. It's not compulsory, but it's done for you, and you can use what you've learned throughout the semester and select a topic and use that topic to generate some questions for this question. It's going to be very meaningful. Okay? So I'm going to invite individuals, pairs, and team to write me proposal. That proposal means you want to do it starting from this week. Okay? You can start doing it in a public discussion forum of this week number 12 for your next week's work. Okay? So this is what I would like to tell you. It's going to be very exciting. If you look at the schemes here, all of a sudden you have another 10% here to make up the work. All right? And one more thing I promised at the very beginning of the semester, if you happen to forget, let me remind you. Look at the 3 learning contracts. Each one of these will give you 10%, right? And now I finished grading the first 2 learning contracts. And I should be able to finish grading the 3rd learning contract and the midterm by the end of next week. Okay? Because I have 3 different classes to do. And no matter what score you earn in each of the learning contract, if you look at my syllabus carefully, listen to my first day of class carefully, I will give full score to you for 1 learning contract. Okay, full score. This is what we call the scaffolding score. Now, the only condition is you must have submit the individual items in each of the learning contract. Now, if you have not submit any items in the individual learning contract, that contract will not be qualified for full score. And you have to take the earned score as it is. All right? Normally, I give full score to the first learning contract. Okay, because that is the learning curve. No matter what actual score you earn, okay, as long as you submit the items, I'll give you full 10% score. And for the 2nd and 3rd learning contract, you will have your earned score. That means the score you earn out of your work. All right? So, but this semester I want to do it this way. I will let you choose after next week, when you have all your score of the free learning contract, ready, I will let you choose, but this is the conditions other than the original one, that you must already submit all this. I will let you choose which contract you want full score, because it makes no difference to me, all these 10%. Okay? So you can wait on your own. Okay? So, and I'm going to set up a link called assessment link, that you tell me which learning contract you want full score. But remember, the condition is you want to submit all the items in that learning contract in order to be qualified to receive that full score. Alright? So this is the kind of things I hope at this point it is one way to make sure that your efforts are being compensated. Okay? The only purpose as a teacher is to create a structure, a learning scheme for you to complete the work and to have that experience. And then my job here is to give you enough of the compensations that you will think it makes sense. All right? And for me, I'm very much encouraged when I look at the way most of you, actually almost the whole class, have been doing the submitted work when the deadline comes. I went through some classes when I became scared. What happened? When the deadline comes, not many people from the class will submit the work. That means, oh, I'm in big trouble. But I do not have any problem with this class. When the deadline comes, I can see actually almost the whole class are willing to submit your work. And when I look at the kind of, as I shared with you before, as I look at the email during the last 3 days of the submissions, all is bring up. And I'm very much encouraged. That means you care about this. Okay? So now, before the end of next week, you should know 1, 2, 3, 4 important score. Now for the other 2 score, the learn to learn and in-class participations, I think you know better than I do. Okay? As I said, in order to earn this 15% of the learn to learn score, you should have done at least one journal using at least one topic from the reading list of the first 10 weeks. That means you should have 10 different journals, 1 per week, in order to earn the 10%. And before the end of the semester, this means December the 10th, as long as you take 5 of these journals and write 5 different blocks and put it in your learning portfolio, your e-portfolio wiki, you can take this 15% with you. And as long as you have 5 different in-class participations record here, you take this 10% with you. If you have 10 records of this in-class participations, you take 20%. So you must be in charge of this number of activity, and you can tell me which particular score is yours. Grading all of these is a lot of work, but it does not contribute a lot to your overall grade, but it contributes a lot to your practice to earn your ability to develop that competency. And so you have to forgive me, I designed a free learning contract where you have to do a lot, but I just give you 30%. It's also good because when you come down to here, you know that you can use up all the artifacts here and really earn the 30% here. Right? So, having said that, I believe I've already finished my talk today. I'll let you think a little bit more about this, and if you have a question, you can ask me. Remember, this is the period of time when you should concentrate on doing your e-portfolio work. Alright? Where are you going to do your e-portfolio work? It's right here when you come to the link number 11, week number 11, 12, because we have started up this for 2 weeks, except that we overlap the first week with your third learning contract. So when you come to week number 11, look at this very important name, okay? This is a very important name called personal e-portfolio space for week number 11 to 15. Now we are already in week number 12. 13, 14, 15, only 3 more weeks to go, okay? And I just mentioned that if you prefer to do the bonus work, you should leave me a message here, leave the whole class a message here, okay, with the PowerPoint, but you should give me from your Dr. Vet's Q&A hotline your desire to do that, and then I will single out a slot for you, okay? So I've told you this, and I would say that I'm now passing back the time to you for at least 10 minutes to digest what you're supposed to do with the remaining semester. 2 keywords: reflections and connections, okay? That is the theme of this period of study, integrative learning, all right? Integrative learning. And the purpose of this is to help you to put things together, all right? So if you have a question, you raise your hand, I'll come to answer you. But the first thing is very important that you need to go back to look at what you want to do. Do you want to earn some bonus points with a bonus project? Now, you cannot do it twice. If you do it individually, you cannot do it again with pair or team, all right? So each student is given only one chance to do that bonus work. In the remaining 3 weeks, starting from week 13, covering week 14 and week 15, all right? So I'm going to keep silent for 5 to 10 minutes and let you talk about what I've said here and see if you understand it. And in the meantime, I'm getting ready the attendance call. Take the attendance score in about 5 minutes. It's okay, because you are excused. Leah, thank you. Claudia, not here. Ada, thank you. Ryan Vaughn, thank you. Jenny Yu, thank you. Jackie Wong, not here today. White Park, thank you. C Pong is not here today, okay. Manfong, okay. Richards is not here today. Oh, thank you. That's is here. Fish, thank you. And then Angela, thank you. Erika, thank you. Ruby, thank you. C, thank you. Elisa, thank you. Lockhart, thank you. Stephen, thank you.